Hello everyone and welcome back to week 6 of my learning how to draw portrait series. Well, it's actually a little bit more now I'm thinking about it. Now, in the previous week, I made the mistake of going too fast with my drawing, which resulted in me getting a bad and unclean result, which I had to go back and redo. So this week, I made sure that my drawings were clean and correctly constructed, which resulted in me getting promoted to lesson 2. Come on, I'll show you. Now, this week started with me making another lane, this time making sure that the lane was clean and properly built up. However, this lane had a couple of problems, which thankfully Julia pointed out in the next live stream. But before I let Julia tear my drawing apart, I want to set a little challenge for you to see how good you are at constructing portraits. Are you up for it? Good. I want you to pause this video and comment down below what you think is wrong with this lane right here. This isn't some competition, so there's no reason to skip to the next part of this video to see the correct answer and then comment it down below. Yeah, I see you guys right here. This is just for you to see if you can spot the mistake. You're done? Okay, now let's see if you got that right.
More straight lines for your noses, okay? So that would be it for the noses. And then you still kind of make your eyes a little bit more shaped like X rather than like circles.
That's right. If you guessed that the nose was too round and the eyes were too ovally, is that even a real word? Then here, have a gold star. So now that I knew what I needed to fix, it was time to make a couple more drawings to see if I could actually nail that down. But this time, making sure that the lines were clean, the nose was properly boxy, and the eyes were the roundest that you can ever imagine. And that is how I ended up with these two beauties. There are definitely a lot of things I learned in lesson 1 about constructing portraits, which I'll have a separate full summary about that in another video, which you can check on the top of your screen right now. For now, the main things I focused on this week, which actually allowed me to draw these good looking portraits, were definitely the eyes and nose, as I've already talked about before. For the nose, I made sure that it was boxy, but also that it aligned with the perspective of the entire head. So the bottom of the nose, the top of the nose, and the nose bridge all had to have correct angles, which is really important to make the nose look 3D. Another important thing that I focused on for the nose was making small straight lines for the bottom plane of the nose to show either the nostrils or the actual form of the nose. Now, for the eyes, I think I've struggled with this for a pretty long time now, making the eyes round. I swear that every time I draw a circle, it's actually an oval somehow. I don't even know how that's possible. Like, what? So I had to learn to slowly erase the eyes and sculpt them step by step to be more like circles instead of ovals. A good tip I can give you guys is to abuse Ctrl-Z and the sculpting eraser. Guys, if you're not using Ctrl-Z or the eraser at least 15 times per second, you're doing something wrong, okay? They are basically saviors. Now, more than just the shape of the eyes, I also made sure to position them correctly so they weren't poking out in the 3/4 view and they weren't too far apart or too close in the front face. Now, in order to make sure that they were positioned correctly, I used the guidelines, taking the drawing on top of the actual reference to see where my eyes were positioned, and obviously the lasso tool and move tool. When I had the correct size of the eye and I just needed to move them to the correct position, I just used the lasso tool to select the eye and move it to the actual correct position. Because if I hadn't used that lasso tool, believe me, I would probably still be drawing eyes till this day. Now, that is obviously not to say that I did not focus on anything else other than the nose and eyes. Obviously, you still need to make the drawing look 3D, have good perspective, and have clean lines on all the drawing, not only the eyes and nose. But for the main part, I think I had everything down pretty good other than the nose and the eyes. So I didn't really focus on them as much, but I still did give them a little bit of time. Whew, I have to say that lesson 1 is pretty damn hard, but drawing the basic lane gets a little tired after a while. So join me next week where I actually start drawing planes of the head, starting with these pesky little eyes. Now obviously, if you're interested in the summary of lesson 1, you can check it out right here. See you there, guys.